Coming to you from the heart of the Pacific, brought to you by Paulie by Design.
Respected at all times.
Broadcasting from San Francisco, California, the city by the bay.
It's about to go down.
We shine on positive Pacific Islander role models every Sunday.
Party on a Sunday.
From 10 a.m. to noon, it's time for the iconic Faika podcast with your hosts,
Listening to
Naki and Carl.
Well, it's not Sunday and it's not 10 a.m., but this is the Faika podcast. I'm your host, Carl, and our guest today from Southern Illinois, Will Fanene. Good evening, Will.
Good evening. How y'all doing?
Doing good. Appreciate the patience as we started the show today. But it's our Tuesday edition, and I know you got class coming because I got class coming too. From two different perspectives, though. I'm going to be the student, you're going to be the teacher. That's coming up here in I don't know, an hour and 15 minutes. So I know that you're pressed for time. I appreciate you coming on and spending some time with us. Just wanted to get a piece of, you've been in it for a little bit. You've done a couple classes. We've got a class coming up, and I definitely want to talk about that. So talk a little bit about getting into teaching Samoan, which I think is a kind of a unique path in terms of you learning it yourself and now teaching it. So maybe just give a little brief background about yourself, and then talk about finding your way into teaching Samoan.
Sure. Well, I'm Will Fanene. It's been I actually grew up in the Samoan culture, but I never knew the language. So I guess when I was around 20 years old, I left, came to Southern Illinois and went to college. And I was around my African American side for, several years, 15, 18 years after that. And then I decided, okay, I'm going to learn Samoan. So I was just picking up books, finding resources. There were many resources online. So I did find this one, and it was a tutoring, like an online tutoring thing, and they taught all these different languages, and Samoan was on there. So I thought that was interesting, but I ended up finding a couple of tutors, and they were like, well, this isn't, I guess whatever service that was hosting that, they were like, this isn't a good service, we'll tutor you offline or whatever. So I hooked up with them, and we spoke for a little bit, and we're like, how about we just start our own thing? But they were the ones supposed to do all of the teaching and stuff. I just wanted to learn from them. That's all. I had no interest in being a teacher because I'm not really comfortable in front of cameras or in front of, people and all that kind of stuff. So then they, I guess they wanted to part ways. They didn't want to do it either, So, but at that point, we had already started this plan, and I just wanted to keep going with it. So that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to figure out, Samoan and just kind of step out there and do it. So that's kind of how I got into, learning Samoan. I wanted to learn it enough where I was able to make videos. So I started, doing small lessons on Instagram and kind of, learning from the books, and then also kind of conversing with native speaking Samoans, and I just did that every day for a while, making Instagram videos and now TikTok videos on speaking Samoan, and then that just evolved into making Samoan educational products, and now also Samoan the class, and getting into the class. So it wasn't anything that I planned for myself. It just kind of like Plinko. It just kind of went to teaching Samoan. So
what was the a lot of people talk about the Mormon, the missionaries, and I guess that's a really immersive process. Like they are speaking Samoan, conversationally, like they're really immersed in it over a really intensive course. And if you don't have that kind of environment, did you find yourself leaning more on literature, like a book, or was it the conversational Samoan with native speakers, or a mix of it? Like, how, when you look back at how you learned it, how would you describe that?
For me, it was definitely a mix. So, like I said, I grew up around the Samoan language. I just never was able to catch on to it. But when it came to actually learning it, it came from the literature. So, some of the literature was written by Samoans, and there's a lot of literature written by Mormons. They've written the stuff as well. So I just kind of put it all together, and then um, try to mix it up with native speaking Samoans and getting that aspect, because a lot of times when I say stuff that comes from the books, the native speakers will be like, that doesn't sound right, So, and to get that kind of blowback, frequently, especially in the beginning, I was like, maybe I need to slow down with the book and then try to at least get a balance, and then present the information after I run it through the native, because it's you got to go through the native speaking Samoans first before you put it out there and say this is how you speak Samoan. I didn't want to put it out like this is how you speak Samoan, but this is what because the Mormons said. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I think that, and I've heard this over and over, especially from people that grew up Samoa but didn't learn the language. You got to have a thick skin if you're going to learn it, because a lot of times you get called out about it.
right,
But I think that you've experienced that exponentially in that you've got the normal course of learning Samoa, so you've got to have a thick skin that way. But like digitally and on social media, you've had people come at you, so you've had to
right,
have a thick skin again, one more layer of thick skin, because you get it. People come for you, on Instagram and that kind of thing. Has that been you're a really easygoing guy. So from what we can tell, right? So was that tough for you to see that happen on social media? Because I mean, like, from what I can see, you're all smiles, you know what I mean? And I'm in the class. I'm in the class that we got to get off of
yeah.
this in time for you to start the next class. So, I see that, but are you just that patient of a person that you just let it run off your back?
I think so. I mean, when I first started, I kind of got a lot of it, and I'm a grown man now, so when you're a little kid, it's like okay, whatever, and then you just get so used to it, you blow it off. But then I got older, and then get on social media, and then you're getting all of these troll accounts, and some of them weren't troll accounts. They were just people saying you need to, you ain't saying this right, you ain't doing this right, who told you that, and all that kind of stuff. So it was kind of hard at first because it was like me reliving my childhood all over again, and those aspects of it that I didn't like. So you know, after a while, like I, I guess I just got used to it again. But then, so that was on Instagram. Then when I started TikTok, it happened all over. But by then, I was used to it. Like, I just know, just strike back, just say something back, and then everybody will fall back. But when I first started Instagram, and people were like, the native Samoans were always like, not not everybody. I got more love. It was a lot of people showing love all the time. Um, but there were, I don't know if it could be the same one person sending, who knows, but I mean they would say some really mean stuff like you don't need to be doing this, and who do you think you are, you're not, like we were talking about the other guy, you're not the representation of who someone's are. You Why would you be out here trying to do that? You're wasting your time. So and then I just had to block it out because I know there are a lot of Samoans out here like me, that feel this, that have grown up feeling disenfranchised. They message me and say, I don't claim Samoa because Samoa don't claim me. And I know what that feels like. So those are the people that I want to reach. If you can speak Samoan and you're fluent in it, great. I want to talk to the people that always wanted to know how to speak Samoan but can't, or or maybe they felt like, okay, well, I can't get close enough to my own family or my own my own heritage to learn it. So those are the people that I want to reach, and I had to learn that, like, you're gonna get blowback, and you can't control all of that, but the people that really want to hear it, those are the ones that message me. If I'm quiet for too long on Instagram, they message me and say, don't stop. I don't know where you're doing right now, or but I hope you're not thinking about quitting. Those are kind of things that keep me going. So Even though other people might say, the crazy stuff, the other people are the ones that make me like, okay, I'm gonna keep doing it. So
I think it's hard to, especially when you put your heart into something. We had, we had gotten into it online with someone, and they were talking about like, oh, I guess Poly by Design, showed its true colors, and you look at that, and you're like, we were like, this is our baby. This is we pour our heart and soul in this, and it's hard not to
right,
get emotional, emotionally caught up in when you read words where you're like, that's exactly the opposite of what I'm trying to do. um, and Naki, I give it up to Naki. She messaged me and she's like, "You need to respond to this fool because if I respond, I'm gonna snap and it's not gonna reflect well on Poly by Design." So, I will take a minute and you know formulate a response that's not crazy, but it's hard. It's hard when if you didn't care about your craft, then you wouldn't care about barbed words. You just go, all right, whatever. But when you're putting your heart and soul and you're pouring yourself into it, it's really those things. It's hard not to just look at that and go off or overreact. But in the end, um, for the people that say that about, you know, you, to me, this is my thought, is one, if Samoa is going to continue and is going to live on, it can't just be people that grew up in American Samoa or grew up even Samoa here in the United States. The whole Afakasi generation, the whole didn't grow up in the church, didn't grow up in the community. The language is the heart of that's how you're going to become connected. Like there's got to be, way more ways to learn the language. And when I saw you come out and teaching and teaching, you were talking about this before the show, teaching Samoan the way that we learned English, like the noun and the verb and the adjective and the order and tense limiters and those tense indicators and all those kind of stuff. That's how I learned English. So when you're teaching that in Samoan, it clicks with me because I'm trying to learn it as a second language. um, what do you think what's been some of your proud moments? Like, you have a conversation with a previous student, or you hear a student online, on social media, or even maybe it's yourself having a conversation with somebody in Samoan. But are there moments that you can look at and go, hey, I'm making a difference?
yeah. Well, I guess the main thing, nothing really beats this for me, is just being able to conversate with my mom in Samoan. So that was the main thing for me. But then also to hear like other people, like, man, it's just like what you just said. I've heard that several times. I get it. I'm getting it. Or it's like the light bulb goes off. Like you're like, so I'll have these side zooms with people all the time, and they're like, I'm looking at them while they're writing stuff down. Like, man, I've been hearing that all my life, and just for them to be able to get something, and then all of a sudden now it's they might not be fluent in actually speaking, but they're fluent in that now. So it's just making those connections that they've been hearing all of their life. And at a beginner level, that's pretty much what what we're doing now, is just kind of connecting those dots of things that you've always heard, but you just never knew why when it's said or how it's said or anything like that. So hopefully we'll get to the level where it's like, okay, yeah, everybody just leaves the class, and 8 weeks is kind of hard for everyone to walk away and everybody speaking Samoan fluently like that. But um just watching the light bulb go off for people, that's the main thing. And for them to be like, man, now I'm going to keep going with it, because a lot of people, even myself included, I was like, I'm cool, I don't need to know what I need to know someone for, but to hear somebody say, yeah, I never, I don't want to learn someone, I don't need to know it, and then they have there's reasons why they have it, they haven't actually verbalized it. So when you speak to them privately and they're like, man, you know, I'm starting to get it now. And they're breaking down all of those, you know, the fears that they had, the insecurities that they had, and, you know, getting past that where it's like, you know, to me, if you've been around it, it's already up there. It's not going to take long to catch on to it, but you just need to know, you know, we have an English state of mind, or, you know, we phrase everything in English way. So that's what the Samoan sentence structure class is for you to reprogram yourself to think in the way that you've been hearing all your life. So
Does that
I
translate
kind
to?
of went off on a tangent there, but
No, no, you're good. You're good. Does that translate to? Because I know that you're teaching classes that are being broadcast in New Zealand and Australia. Is that the
right.
same? Are you hearing the same feedback as English speakers are saying? Like, I needed to know that the adjective came after the noun, like the not the greenhouse. You're writing the house green. Those clicks and those like
Right.
aha moments that are happening for English speakers in America. Is that you're getting the same kind of thing when you're teaching to the Australian and the New Zealand audience?
Right. It's the same sort of thing. Over there, I find that a lot of them that are in the course are they're like wives and spouses of a Samoan,
Mm.
and they're like wanting to learn, or like parents that don't know how to teach their kids. So they just, you know, they just turn the Zoom on and like, okay, when he's done, tell me what he said so that we can speak, you know, so that we can have our own. So they don't know how to teach from an English standpoint when to somebody that speaks English, you know, or learned English as a first language. So over in Australia, New Zealand, that seems to be because they have a lot of resources over there. We don't have them over here. At least I haven't found many of them. So, but I, that yeah, that's what I found. A lot of them are spouses and children that log on to learn their language.
So that talk about the children. So the children speak Samoan, or the children don't speak Samoan in most of them in your classes.
The children, yeah, yeah, none of the ones in the classes speak Samoan. So they get on there mainly from their parents or their older sibling, and they're like, you know, we want you to learn Samoan, but I don't know how to teach you Samoan
Ah,
in the way that your mind is structured, you know. So they're like, listen to this guy, you know. So I usually speak to the parents before the class, you know, before the 8 weeks, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I see. So you know, we have a private conversation, and they just let me know, yeah, they're here, and because it's like especially on like on Fridays, you know, the adults kind of get like a little loose, and so I try to keep everything kind of kind of tame for everybody.
yeah, you do a good job of in class. You do a good job of keeping everything. I don't know, a safe space. Kind of, you know, it's not like therapy or something, but it is. It doesn't feel like, you know, you're if you say something wrong, that you're going to get judged, or you know what I mean. Because in the class that I'm in, um, there are people in there that speak pretty good Samoan, right? And it, or they know, you know what I mean? Like they know there's a different there's varying levels in our class. Everybody feels okay. Like I don't feel like people are, you know, feel like, ooh, I don't want to answer because you know I'll be wrong. I think there's a little of that, but um, it's not like you promote that. I think that you do a good job of keeping everybody feeling okay about the process. So you've how many classes have you done or series? I guess not necessarily classes, but this is an 8 week class that I'm in. Um, is this your third series, second series, or
Right.
what number are you on?
Right. This is the third series, the third 8 week series, and I had one test series before that, and it was just family in that one. So, um, and I think I did that one for maybe about 4 weeks, and then after that, I was like, okay, I'm ready to go. Let me go ahead and see if I could do it. But yeah, this is the third 8 week series, and to me, this is the best one. And hopefully they just keep getting better because I try to go based on off of you know, feedback from people. And like I said, in this one, there's someone here that actually writes curriculums, and so I want to make sure that I take all of her advice and you know, formulate this in such a way that it can be the best that it can be. So hopefully by, you know, the end of this year, it's just, you know, something that can be replicated. Other people can do it, and they speak way better Samoan than I do. So that's kind of the goal. I want it to be where Samoan is just, it's not so hard to find. It's not so easy, not so difficult to find a class where everybody is that wants to speak Samoan can get it. Maybe people can't accept it from me, or they're not. Maybe I'm not the best teacher for them. Maybe somebody else can do that. So, and if this curriculum helps them, then I think that's great. But that's the goal. I just want Samoan language to get out there.
I think the format is really friendly. Our class is like we got a million questions, and you're able to. One of the things that I really liked was that you asked us, "Do you want to move on at this point, or do you want to do a review of the things that we've gone over?" And the class was able to give input on like, "Look, we kind of want to make sure that we got what we've already gone over." And I don't think that you're going to find that in a lot of online classes. I think they're just going to go by, they're going to go through the agenda, and they're going to, move from chapter to chapter and topic to topic, whether you're ready or not. And then you gave us the chance, like, do you want to take a week and review what we're doing? So I really, there's a lot of things going on in that class that I like. My son is in there as well. So, and he says the same thing. We're both like, yeah, tense, limiter, action. Like we're both looking at it the same way. So talk a little bit about we're in, what are we in, a third week? And we're doing Tuesdays and Fridays. When about like a ballpark figure? Do you know when your next class? Because there's probably people that are listening that may want to jump in to a future class. Do you have some time frame once we finish the series that we're in, when you might start back up?
Yeah, the next one will start back up either March 23rd or April 6th. It just kind of depends. Because sometimes the 8 weeks actually turns into 9 weeks or 10 weeks. So I know our last one, we went over a week, and then the session before that we went over like a week and a half, just because I wanted to, whoever wanted to whoever wanted some more time, we can talk about whatever that they wanted. But definitely by no sooner than March 23rd. That's the first day, but no later than April 6th. So, and you can find it, on Instagram and all of that. I'll be promoting that, and then on TikTok
And Poly by Design,
and then whatever
let us know.
Facebook, all those platforms.
Yeah.
Poly by Design.
You're always going to be able to check him out on Instagram, all the social media outlets, and then as we nailed down that date, whether it's the 23rd of March or the 6th of April, whatever the
6th,
date
yeah.
is, we will definitely post it on our social media, and then Will's going to have it on his as well. Let's see, the who speaks the best Samoan? Is it I would assume is a New Zealand group, but who, it's a beginner course, which I like because there's people in there that, we're going through we're going through pronouncing the vowels or those kind of things. And then there's obviously some people that are a little bit more advanced, but do you find groups from certain countries are further along than others?
It's usually and I'm thinking it's the parents that are,
Mm.
because I'm not really good with Zoom. Still, even after the 8 weeks, I've been on here with 30 weeks doing stuff. I'm not that great with Zoom. Sometimes somebody will get on and they're just straight fluent in Samoan, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. So what are you doing in here? But it's usually somebody's parent. But it's hard for me to tell because this is the first time I actually broke out New Zealand, America classes, right?
Mm.
So the last ones, it was just, there's 40, 50 people on there. And so somebody starts speaking Samoan. And so I never really know. So now I got it set up where I only see 4 people because I'm not good at multitasking. I really have to stay focused on what I'm doing, or I forget stuff. So in terms of whoever's the best is usually somebody from Australia, and they are I'm thinking they're just sitting next to somebody that that they want to learn Samoan, and it's usually a kid, so it's somebody's parent.
We got a question from Facebook from Taulanga. Do you hold a Matai title? If not, do you think you might?
Oh no, I don't hold a Matai title. And I don't. Last time I've been to Samoa, I think I was 3 or something. So I mean, one day I would like to go, and you know, I don't even know how that works, unfortunately. But you know, if that's something that comes about, I would definitely be honored. But it's like I think it's you know, maybe I shouldn't say that, but it's probably something more for people that are have been there, and they've, you know, they know how everything works and all of that. So I wouldn't even feel right as if somebody were to call me now and say, "Would you, you know, want the Matai title?" I was like, "Oh no, I'm not worthy of that. You know, I don't know how all of that works. You know, I feel like I would have to move there and be part of everything, and you know, so and that's just how I feel. But I don't really know how that works.
Well said. Well said. So, any plans in the COVID notwithstanding? Like, let's assume COVID goes away in the fall. Are there any plans in the near future to visit Samoa?
I would love to visit Samoa ASAP as soon as possible, and just to get it the language from a deeper perspective, like not just from books and not just from not you know not putting Americans you know American or Americans Samoans in America down or anything like that, but just to be in Samoa, to go to the motherland and just inundate myself in the language and in the culture and the people, and just you know, I would love to do that, but I don't know when that'll happen, but hopefully it's, you know, as soon as I can. I would love to go there and do that.
Well, maybe we'll get lucky and be on the same plane at some point, or share that space together at some point. We're Naki's like, itching to go. And we were supposed to go
Yeah.
to New Zealand and Palau last year, and we had to cancel.
Oh
We had
yeah.
to cancel trips, so she's itching to
Yeah.
buy an airline ticket and get out there into the Pacific. So um, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe we end up there. We end up there together. Um, we said
Anytime.
5,
Yep.
so I definitely want to honor your time. Any shout outs? Anything that you want to get out before we wrap things up?
I not really. Just shout out to you know, everybody in the classes and in the Mato classes, the Fanene family, the Laofu family, everybody. Carl and Naki, thank you so much for having me to fight out with you guys, and I really I love your show, and you know, much success to all of you guys, and just everybody that you know, if you're you know, kind of shy about learning the Samoan language and it's in you, just, you know, run with it. Just go with your feeling and just learn it. It's gonna, you'll feel so much, you'll feel that connection that you've been missing, you know. And it's just I can't even describe it. Once you are able to start verbalizing stuff, and it doesn't take long. Like I said, if you've been growing, if you grew up in the Samoan culture, or you know, and it's just something is like, man, it's hit and miss. It's things are just going past you. You're not able to make that connection. If you know, just learn a little bit, and once you get a little bit, and it's like bam, then you don't want to stop. So that's the main thing I want people to understand. Just grab it. Once you just get that little bit, then you're just gonna run with it because it's in you anyway. So um,
Awesome.
thank you all.
So everybody out there, if English is your first language, just personally, the way that Will teaches his Samoan classes really clicks because of the way that I was taught English, and I think that works that way for a lot of people. So um, if if that's where you're coming from, and that's where I'm coming from, it is, and I've taken some Samoan classes. It's clicking from a grammar standpoint because it's, again, it's how I learned English. So check them out. Quick message that I want to get out to you, Will. Don't listen to don't let the whoever chipping at you on social media, you're doing good things. And you're filling a niche, a gap, a resource that's needed out there in the Samoan community. And some people may not like it. Not everybody has to like it. They don't have to sign up for classes. They don't have to, learn from you or do any of that. If they want to go do something for the community, they want to do good things for their people, then they can start their own programs and they can teach, I don't know, they can teach cooking or they can teach, something about the Samoan culture themselves if they want to do something for that. But I'm just going to remind you that you're doing good things. There's a lot of people out there that love what you're doing. And we appreciate you. So I'm going to get out of your way, let you get ready for class. I'll see you in an hour. That's it for us today.
All right.
Come back and Faika with us. We will be here Sunday from 10 to 12 and then back here next week at 5 p.m. So thank you, everybody, and come back to Faika with us.
No matter what's wrong, you gotta stay strong.